Hello and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel in the first place. Today we have a Bakugou X listener. I don't have too much to say other than sorry for any background noise and be respectful if you're in the live chat. I'm gonna kill shitty hair once we get out of this. Bakugou, doesn't that seem a bit harsh? His head turned back to yours slowly, a scowl across his face as you sink further into your seat. Okay, maybe it wasn't the best time to try and be positive with him. Then again, it wasn't your fault that the ski lift had failed, and it wasn't your fault that the cause seemed to be his red-headed best friend. A part of why you question why exactly Kiri decided to shove you into the car with Bakugou of all people. But now that you were stuck, and you could see a rather pleased Kirishima down at the bottom, it was starting to connect. Okay, you were sitting in a ski lift with Katsuki Bakugou. There was no way this could end well. It seemed he sensed this as well, as he immediately pulled out his phone, trying to call for help. Unfortunately, even if you were on the ground, the snow was making the connection almost completely gone, but since you were in the air, it was even worse, and no bars meant no calling for help. To make it worse, Aizawa was already at the top with some other students. So until Aizawa noticed that you both were gone, he would be stuck up here with a rather pissed off Bakugou. While he cursed and looked around for something to get out, you curled tighter into your arms, wrapping them around your knees as you brought them up to your chest. Being so high in the air made you anxious, and it wasn't helping that every time Bakugou moved, the ski lift would shift back and forth. Every swish of the small box made you even more nervous. Bakugou, can you please sit down? Shut up, nerd, I'm trying to figure this thing out. The harshness of his voice made you flinch slightly. His eyes softened at the scared look on your face. He wasn't sure if it was his outburst that scared you or being so high up in the air. Either way, he quietly stared at you as you curled up tighter. Are you okay? I'm fine. A drift of cold air made you shiver, your teeth clattering as you buried your face into your knees. Don't fucking lie to me. I can see that you aren't. Get over here before I regret it. When you looked up, his arms were open, a small blush on his cheeks as he stared out the window. It was a shocking gesture that you weren't sure whether or not he was actually being serious. After a few seconds of staring at him in shock, he turned to send you a glare. Your reluctance just annoyed him further. If you don't want to get over here, you can just freeze your ass off in the corner. No. He blinked silently as you carefully stood up and inched towards him. There wasn't much room inside of the box, so you were in front of him after only 2 steps. Another short silence hung over both of you as he stared up at you before you slowly sat down in his lap. This was far from how you planned today going. If anything, you expected at most to get some hot chocolate back at the lodge with Bakugou, not sitting on his lap, stranded hundreds of feet up in the air. Just the fact that he offered to let you sit with him was embarrassing, even more so that you went along with it. You were trying to shift your weight onto your legs instead of him. You hadn't ever sat on someone's lap, and you didn't want to seem heavy or anything. When he noticed this, his arms wrapped around your waist and tugged you down firmly, you now pressing against him snugly. He smirked when you gasped out in slight shock, and your hands moved to grip his arms as he leaned backwards with you. Relax, nerd, I'm not gonna bite you. The lift slowed to a gentle rocking. With the two of you not moving, it helped still it, something you were extremely thankful for. If it kept moving, you were pretty sure you would have had a panic attack or worse, thrown up. Nothing would have been more humiliating than throwing up in front of your crush. Then again, sitting on your crush's lap as he casually rested his head on yours, his hands firmly holding down your hips as he quietly stared down at you, was also quite stressful. The heat from his hands seemed to burn into your skin, which you knew was impossible with how many layers the two of you were wearing, but you could have sworn you felt the imprint of his hand. One of his hands reached up to your arm slowly and pressed you down against his chest. Just calm down, your heart is pounding. Are you really this scared of heights? His chest rumbled when he talked, and instead of his regularly booming voice, it was lowered to a gentler tone. It wasn't a whisper, but it wasn't his usual loud self. It would have been typical for anyone else, but hearing him be so quiet was shocking. I'll be fine if I don't move too much. The soft rise and fall of his chest calmed you down. If you knew he was this warm to cuddle, you would have done it sooner. Well, with his permission, of course. There was no circumstance where you could see yourself going up to him and asking to do something like this. If you had gone up to him and asked, he probably would have called you a freak or made fun of you for it. It was the last thing you needed. But there was no point in thinking about that. Why focus on that when Bakugou was holding you close to his chest, his breathing matching yours as he firmly held you against him? Within minutes, your eyes were fluttering closed, and you drifted off into a quiet sleep. When he noticed your breathing slow, he carefully leaned back to stare down at your peaceful face. His eyes slowly looked over your expression, the way your eyelashes fluttered, how the tip of your nose was red from the cold, and how pink your cheeks were. Silently, he leaned down and pressed his lips against your forehead before leaning back and shutting his eyes. Dude, I think he's out. Kirishima poked his head in further with Denki. The two were watching their friends as they silently slept. Bakugou shifted slightly, his arms wrapping tighter around you as you nuzzled into his chest. The two awed at your cute expression and the small smile on Bakugou's lips. Denki quietly pulled out his phone and snapped a few pictures, while Kiri nudged the two of you slightly. Hey dude, we got the lift going again. You can get out. Bakugou's eyes opened slowly to the bright flash of Denki's camera, a slight scowl taking over his features at the sight of his two friends. Kirishima jumped back and smiled. So, it looks like my plan worked. You're fucking dead shitty hair. Before he could even finish, his eyes snapped back down to yours as you shifted around, the sleep making your mind hazy as you leaned up to nuzzle into his neck. A small blush covered his cheeks as you slowly opened your eyes. Bakugou? Yeah, I'm here. Did the ski lift start working? Where are we? Instead of answering, he stood up, your body still in his arms as he pushed past the other two. When you had fallen asleep, the sun was high in the sky, but now it was slowly setting behind one of the towering mountains. Quietly, you looked up at Bakugou, a smile replacing your confused expression. Thank you, Katsuki. Whatever, nerd, go back to sleep. I'll take you to your room. Just a quick bonus part. Hey, Bakugou. One of his eyes fluttered open, his head tilting down to look at you. You lifted, so you were leaning on your elbows, your chest pressed against his as you stared into his eyes. Do you want to maybe go get some hot chocolate? Like a date? I would like that. He blushed slightly and looked away, his hair slightly falling onto his face as you smiled brightly. Before he could say anything else, you pressed a soft kiss to his cheek. Hey, don't do that without warning me. You look cute when you blush. Shut up, I'm not cute. Alright, so that's the end of this one. I hope you enjoyed. If you're in the live chat, thank the moderators. Alright, so music link, fanfic link, Discord link, Amazon wishlist link, and thumbnail art link will all be in the description. This isn't my fanfic. It doesn't belong to me, but I got the permission from the author, okay? And I'm just trying to clarify this right now. Anyways, I hope you have a great rest of your day, night, whatever, and I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye!